Hello, everyone, and welcome to Co-Creation Station, the podcast where we talk about the law of attraction, the art of allowing, spiritual magic, the mind-body-spirit connection, and how to best enjoy this mystical, miraculous, mysterious, crazy, sometimes confounding, but always incredible journey we call life. My name is Collin. I am a teacher, tarot oracle card reader, and a singer and guitarist in the rock band Red Treasure, and I'm located in beautiful, sunny North Hollywood, California.
My name is Stephanie Orlina. I am a transformational life coach and I help people shift away from negative thinking. And I'm in San Diego, California.
Thank you for watching and listening to us. At this time, we are posting a brand new episode for you every Monday morning. And thank you so much for doing whatever your platform allows you to do to support the podcast, liking us, following us, subscribing to us, leaving us a comment, and writing us a review. We're super grateful to you for that. All of that helps other people find the show. Each week we start a discussion from a different jumping off point, and this week we didn't, in our friend time discussion right before the podcast started, we didn't necessarily have a major topic that seemed to naturally flow out, so we're going to use one of my oracle card decks. This is the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. Apologies to the audio listeners who don't see the box, but that's what it looks like. And we're just going to pull a card and then discuss whatever topic the card seems to cover and how that relates to law of attraction, art of allowing. Alrighty. So this card is called To Be Fair. I'll hold it up for the YouTube viewers and then I'll try to describe it. Got a little bit of glare going. For the audio listeners, this is a lady in like a Victorian dress of some sort, and she's got like the scales of justice. So she has like she's carrying one gold metal plate, and the other is hanging from one of her hands, and then another golden metal plate is hanging from her other hand. So she's sort of, and then she's got some flags hanging above her or something like that.
Does every card have her on it?
Have who?
That.
No.
Okay.
No, they're all different. 38. Card number 38. To be fair, the essential meanings of this card are about balance, justice, a need to consider all the options, mutual benefit, and the law of cause and effect. The message of this card is life offers experiences that are challenging and experiences that are nourishing, yet over time they strike a balance. You move from being from stasis to doing, from discovering, loving, to letting go, to being again. Life is a pendulum swinging between all of these states. You will always oscillate back and forth between doing and being. If you are not in control, if you are not content with where you are at this moment, remember that all experiences have their place. Accept them without judgment, and you will see how the universe adjusts in perfect balance. You reap what you sow. For every cause there is an effect. Wondrous things can be revealed.
Does something stand out to you as you read that one?
Well, yeah, I think it's sort of like, for me, it's an art of allowing view of that, what that card is talking about, which is that you and I have talked about this before, that contrast is necessary. Sometimes in order to help manifest the most amazing, wonderful, joyous things in our life, we actually need what Abraham Hicks calls a contrast experience, which is not something necessarily that we're going to love or be happy about or whatever, but that leads us to create the manifestation of something we really do like and we really do want and would make us really happy. I have a pretty strong example of when I first moved to Los Angeles about 8 years ago. I was couch surfing at first, and it was I was fairly stressed out because I had to both look for my next couch surfing opportunity, and I also was trying to find a permanent place to live at the same time, and it was a lot to juggle. especially having just moved to the city for the first time. And I was in a couch surfing situation with somebody, and basically the person who let me stay in a room in their house apologized, but said that I couldn't stay there anymore. I had planned to stay there for like 4 nights or something. And after the first night, they said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, but you have to go. Um, we can't have you in the house anymore. We're really sorry." And I literally didn't have a place to sleep that night. um, and it was very difficult for me to perceive that situation as anything other than bad and wrong.
Right, right.
And I remember sitting in my car and calling my sister Kelly, who's been on the show and who's a loyal listener to the show here. Um, and I'll never forget. I told her the situation. I said, I had a couch surfing thing. It was supposed to go 4 nights. I did one night, and the person said, "You have to go," and I don't know where I'm going to stay tonight. Like, this is a little scary for me. And she said, "I don't know how, Collin, but somehow this is all for your greater good."
Wow.
And
That's hard to take that.
yeah, yeah,
when you're in that position.
yeah, yeah,
It's easy when you're on the outside
yeah.
looking in, but being in the center of that circumstance, it's like, that's a hard.
Yeah. I'm not sure it was easy for Kelly to say that to me, because she heard how freaked out I was, and even as solid as she might have been in that knowledge, it's hard to tell somebody sometimes like me who's freaking out, like, and she wasn't like mean or controlling about it. She was like, "Hey,
no, not at all.
Calm down and trust the universe, Collin." I mean, she was like, but in this moment of like kind of desperation, like little ray of sunshine, like, even this, the universe has good things planned for you.
Right, yeah.
And I went to, I was actually my friend, because I just moved from San Diego, where you live, and where we met, to Los Angeles, and our mutual friend Zoe, who had a band with her boyfriend at that time, they were coming up from San Diego to play a show at a music club in Hollywood. And I'd asked my friend Corey, who's lived here for years, and is a musician and plays in my band and all this stuff, if he wanted to go to the show. And he was like, "Yeah, that'd be cool." So I met him there, and we were super early. We were probably an hour before Zoe's band was going to start. And he said, "How's your housing search going?" And the funny thing is, I mean, you and I had talked a lot about the law of attraction at that point. So I was like, well, I knew not to be negative and focus, negatively on the situation, but I also
you weren't during that time when people would ask you, being negative and discouraged and.
Well, no, I think I was being fairly optimistic, but like that was the toughest moment of like. So when I walked in, I remember walking into the club, basically saying, "I'm not going to talk about this," because I was concerned that I would just get in a negative vibration. But Corey's first question was like, "How's the housing search going?"
And so common, right? For a lot of us, when we know someone's doing something or whatever.
I mean, Corey's a really good friend of mine, and I think he would know that's the most important thing going on in your life right now, because you just moved to LA, you don't have a place, And so I tried to be as positive as I could, but I think I probably let some of the desperation leak out as like, I'm going to be homeless.
But I really love that you were even like consciously, before you walked in, was like, okay, I'm not going to bring this up.
Yeah.
That, and then B, like, okay, it came up.
Yeah.
But it was like, okay, I'm going to do my best to think about it in a way that's going to serve me or talk about it in a way that's going to serve me more than it's going to hurt me.
Yeah, and it was a really, I'm not going to say it was easy to do that mentally, but I was thinking.
It was a conscious decision that you made.
Yeah, and I was thinking.
Benefit.
And I was thinking, like, Corey and I are really good friends. There was the potential for us to have a really good time. I'd never seen Zoe and her then boyfriend, now husband's band play, so I was really looking forward to that. I was looking forward to talking to Zoe and her then boyfriend after the show, and I was like, I do remember at the time, I knew like, if I start off talking negatively about, I had a place to stay, whatever, that could be a momentum thing that just like the
Oh
whole
yeah.
night becomes
Yep.
about,
Most people would join you in that.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
oh,
blah
that's
blah
so
blah.
bad. Oh, I'm so
Oh, it
sorry
is
that
really
happened.
hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Like,
But at the
all right.
same time, it was like, I didn't have a place to like, once the show was
Oh
over.
yeah. 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 But you know what?
But
How cool, because that's so the art of allowing is just
yeah,
that even though you have this problem going on and you have no idea how it's going to be resolved
yeah,
and what you're going to do next, you went and you did something that helped you get in and near the vortex, which is
exactly.
such an allowing thing. Then because it's already done. Like when we ask, it is given. I think that's like the deepest thing is that I need to get and that I want to support others in getting that is like in that contrasting situation,
Yeah,
energetic rockets of desire shoot out, and spirit always says yes. Your inner being is now focused 100% because has no doubt that you can be, do, or have anything. So it's created energetically, just waiting. So it's a gathering. Law of attraction is gathering because it's responding to inner being's focus. It's gathering all these cooperative components. Most of the time I'm the only one that's not cooperative because I'm doubting, I'm
yes,
fearful, I'm worried, all these negative emotions, or I'm pissed off at blah 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 for doing dot dot dot, all these things that I am nowhere near in the vicinity of the vortex, so therefore I can't be a cooperative component.
yeah,
And
yep.
it's really as easy as that. So you were allowing by going in, for those 30, 60 minutes of just being present in the moment, listening to music, more so than worried about where am I going to sleep tonight.
Yeah, and I feel like my memory of this part's hazy, but I feel like this is accurate and happened. Is that as I was getting off the phone with Kelly before I went to this club, because it was, I think when I talked to Kelly, I had a few hours between,
Mm-hmm.
you know, getting, kicked out of the place
Yeah.
and getting to go to the show. Um, but I'm pretty sure that Kelly asked me, like, at the end of the phone call, like, what are you going to do now? And I remember thinking, there was one voice in my head was like, well, you can't go to the show. You're going to have to call Corey and tell him you can't make it. Because, like, you got to figure out, if
Yeah.
it's 6 o'clock at night right now, like, you got to figure out how,
Yeah.
But it was one of those things of, like, it was so great in a way because it was like, well, what am I going to do? Like, there's no way I'm just going to, like, I could sit here, I could not go to the show, not see Corey, not see Zoe. I could sit here and call people, for 3 hours and still not have a place to stay. So it was kind of like I didn't feel like I had many options. It's like, well, it's on the docket for me to hang out with my friend Corey, go see my friend Zoe's band, see Zoe afterwards. Like, I'm just gonna do that. I don't know what else to do. I'm in this
Yeah.
weird space,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
so. It's just, I think the cool part of that is, like, sometimes you just have to go do what was already set out. Like, you don't have to, like, come up with some magic plan all by your darn self about how to,
And
revolutionize
I
the
think that's the
situation.
other thing is like, I'm coming to believe that I have a whole slew of physical, like you and, a bunch of other that are here to support me and help me. And then I have even more help, non-physical help, like God, my inner being, spirit, angel, some people call them angels, whatever you want to call that non-physical energy that exists
Yeah.
that we can't see with our eyes. Well, some people can see it, right? But
Hmm.
most of us don't. And yet I know, because I can feel it and have had experiences, that it's there.
Yeah.
It's there assisting.
Yeah.
Like maybe something inspired Kelly to say that.
Yeah.
I've had multiple people. I've had that happen to me and other people where they're just inspired to say something. It happened to me with Dr. Chris the other day. I was telling her about something, and I was fearful of doing it, yet knew it was the right thing, and I was ready. And then she just said this sentence that was like, I felt God saying yes. And I really feel like those words were inspired from some non-physical energy, and she was open channel to deliver it to me. So
Dr. Chris being a San Diego chiropractor who was our guest in season one.
yeah, and I've been seeing her for probably 15 years now, and she's amazing. I love her.
So to finish out the story, so Corey asked me, how's your housing situation going? And I, as positively as I could, I said, funny you should mention because I've been couch surfing and I thought I had a place for 4 nights and I kind of got kicked out. So I actually have no place to stay. And not only do I not have an apartment yet here in Los Angeles, but I also don't have a place to stay tonight. And he was so great. And he just said, well, you're sleeping on my floor tonight, so you don't have to worry about that.
Aww.
And he's like, give me a few minutes and I'm going to text everyone I know in Los Angeles and just tell them my friend Collin's looking for a place to live. Does anybody know anything? Like, not necessarily just, do you have a place? Just like, have you heard? I mean, do you have a friend, a cousin, anything? And so he just like, he sort of, walked couple feet away from me for a few minutes and like texted madly. And I don't remember how long it was, but I think it was only a few minutes. He had a friend who had a sister, and his friend's sister was living in a 3-bedroom house, and they were sharing the rent on this relatively small house, and they had just had a roommate move out, so they had a free bedroom. They were looking for a third housemate, and he's like, can you meet with them? And I was like, I can meet with them tomorrow. Like, it's like, all right, well, meet with them at 12 noon. And I'll never forget that. Like, it was like, oh, okay. And so saw the show. Zoe and her then boyfriend played great. I talked to Zoe afterwards. I had a great time.
Nice.
Went to Corey's place, slept on his floor, hung out with his dog Butch. And then I just got like, Corey and I had breakfast somewhere, I think, and then I got in my car, I followed the directions, I drove to this house, and I met with Anne, who ended up being one of my 2 housemates at the time. I got along great with her. The other housemate, Kelly, had been, she was out of town, but she's like, you can call her, and I think if you just have a conversation with her over the phone, she's like, I know she'll like you. So I called Kelly on the phone.
Yeah.
And not my sister Kelly, but my housemate Kelly, and talked to her, and she's like, yeah, that's great. And I was like, when can I move in? She's like, as soon as you're ready. And I'm like,
I'm here.
All my stuff's in my car. Like, literally, all the stuff I need is in the driveway right now. So yeah, and I lived there for 5 years. That was the place I lived in for first 5 years in Los Angeles.
I remember that. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Great story.
Yeah. And it's not only, so I think to get back to what the card was saying about like life is going to have a variety of experiences for you, and you just got to trust that variety is right. It's going to help you, even if you're having an experience that doesn't feel great. And I can't tell you how not great I felt when that couch surfing opportunity ended prematurely. But it was a really good lesson for me at the time of like, oh, even what seems to me like a really unfortunate situation, as long as I keep my vibration good, that can not only be fine, but it can actually propel me into manifesting something awesome. But it's the gift that keeps on giving. I remember that event in my life all the time. Yeah. And I think I told you, I'm really into the game Dungeons and Dragons right now. I had started running my own game at this game store that I still dearly love in Burbank. And the store that we play at on Tuesday nights had this sort of schedule thing. And then we're like, we're so sorry, but we're not going to have, you can come any other day of the week, but we don't have a space for you to play on Tuesday nights anymore. And my group, which was 8 people at the time, the only time we could all meet was Tuesday night. So I had that same feeling because we were having so much fun, and the gaming store that we were meeting at was convenient for everybody. We loved playing there. Yeah. And then it was like, oh, we got to find a new place. And I like that whole story about, talking to my sister on the phone, like, I don't know how, but this is somehow for your greatest good. Yeah. And we ended up finding another gaming store like a couple miles away. And they're super nice to us, and we love playing there, and it all worked out great. And, but I think it's really challenging. Like, people go through things where like sometimes people suddenly lose a job, or sometimes somebody, a romantic partner, will break up with them, and they didn't see it coming, and it's just like you have that
What are we gonna
moment
do?
of like,
Yeah, what's gonna
this is
happen?
not how I thought this was going to go. This seems really awful.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying that people shouldn't have the feelings that come up in those situations. That's human. But if you can practice just trusting that, like, okay, this person broke up with me. I guess there's
yeah,
somebody even better out
yeah.
there,
Like really
you
feel the
know?
feelings. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
How important that is to feel them in a healthy
Yeah.
way, to the best of your ability, and then get to that point where you're like, okay,
Yeah.
put on your boots, pull up your bootstraps, and then like,
Yeah.
what's the next indicated thing? Like,
And
whatever
I
that may
think,
be in your situation.
yeah, and I've heard people, my friends, some of our mutual friends in San Diego too, talk about like, like the experience of lots of people. I think have had the experience of like they're not enjoying the job that they're at, but it's challenging to find a new job sometimes. So it's like they stay too long. And I guess this has also happened with relationships with me, with other people. Like, the relationship isn't working out. One of you needs to end it, but it's like there's going to be turmoil and, difficult things to navigate. And sometimes the universe is like, okay, like,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
but again, you remind me, it's not really the universe like doing it out of nowhere. That's how we perceive it, but it's
yeah,
really like you have a vibration that's like, I got to get out of this job, or I got to get out of this relationship,
yep,
and your vibration creates the scenario, even without you doing anything. You don't walk in
yeah,
and quit.
yeah,
You don't
yep,
have the difficult conversation and break up with somebody.
exactly,
They do it with you, but that's still your vibration that knew you needed to get out of that situation.
exactly, yeah, yeah.
And I think people have had that experience of like, it's really scary when I lost my job, but honestly, I cannot wait
It
to
was
get
the
out of that
best thing. Yeah, or it ends up,
place.
it was the worst thing that happened to me, and it was the best thing that
Yeah,
happened to
yeah,
me.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like, yeah,
And I think that's the thing. It can always, um, like you said something earlier on in the episode about how you were like, yeah, and I just wasn't a cooperative component to that. And when you said that, I was like, yeah, but sometimes not being a cooperative component for something we want at one point in time is necessary for us to be the cooperative. Like it creates the scenario somehow down the road in time where we are a cooperative component to what we really want. So it's like sometimes you actually need that time where you're not the cooperative component to get to
right,
a place where you are the
right.
cooperative
And I think
component.
I was saying it more as in, um, like right now, I'm walking through some stuff, and I can see where it's my doubt and fear and worry, or how that is really slowing it down,
Yeah,
versus it's not going to not happen because it's in my vortex, but I'm just slow. Everything's lined up,
yeah,
and I'm the only holdout here.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so I realized, like, okay, when I'm in a really good feeling place, I can think about it, like the end result, and it feels really wonderful. But when in a not so good place, I'm trying, but how? Yeah, but what if this happens? And then I'm not a cooperative component, and so therefore I need to just step back and just be like, it's all taken care of, and I
yeah,
don't know how. Let me go over here and like take care of myself, or
yeah,
let me go over here and do the next indicated thing for something else, or whatever. They just stand back and take myself out of the
yeah,
equation for now. But because when I look at my life, there's so many things that I wanted, and some of them I just kept telling the story of like, I don't know how, or I don't
yeah,
know, or whatever. And so it wasn't that it wasn't going to happen, and I only know that now, looking back, and especially with the practices that I've come to learn and do in my life, that I can see like, oh my gosh, I was not a cooperative component there too, but it
yeah,
eventually happened because
yeah,
I love Abraham talks about your inner being knows what you want. You can call it your higher self, knows what you want, knows where it is, and knows your resistance, and will guide you on the path of least resistance towards what you're wanting.
yeah,
And that's what has happened in my life. Like, for the longest time, I kept saying, I don't know what I like, or I'm doing this job that I don't like, but I don't know what I like. But in my heart and soul, I wanted to be one of those people who did what they loved and they were happy.
Yeah.
And I am that today.
Yeah.
But 20 plus years ago, I was not. And I told the story for a very long time. I don't know what I love to do. Or I know what I like to do, but I don't know how I could make money out of that. You know,
Yeah.
all those different ways that just slow it down.
Another sort of thing I think about sometimes that just helps me visualize it is when my sister Kelly and I were young, growing up back in Maine on the East Coast, where she still is. There was this water park in the town that one set of grandparents lived in. It was called Aquaboggin Water Park. I think it's still there. But it's pretty small, like for those people who live in big cities or whatever.
Yeah,
Like it was a
yeah.
very small water park comparatively. For us, it was like massive,
Right.
but they had two parts to the park, and so basically two types of slides you can go down. And one of them was like this. They had some name for it. It was like the speed slide, and it was just like you get on it, and it's just like a straight line right down into the pool.
Yep. Yeah.
And then the other one was this twisty turny thing that
Yeah.
took like 3 minutes, and you bounce, from side to side and everywhere, and then eventually you end up splashing in the pool. And I feel like with my, practicing the art of allowing, like there are times where I'm such a cooperative component, like I'm trusting so much, I'm thinking good thoughts, which are making me have good feelings, and I just like stuff just shows up. So it's the speed pool,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
and I'm often shocked at how fast things can show up
Right.
when I happen to be in that thing, but that vibration. But both slides get to the bottom,
Right.
and the twisty turny one in a lot of ways is more fun sometimes than
That's
the
what I was saying when
speed
you were
one.
saying like the way you were
Yeah,
describing that slide. I was like,
yeah,
that slide's fun.
yeah.
Like the other
It's a
slide
blast.
happens
Yeah,
like that fast, and it
yeah.
can be exciting and
It is
enjoyable.
its own kind of fun. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. But then the other one, when you were describing it, I'm like, I like that slide better.
yeah, yeah,
Because I have experienced that slide, but the way you described it, I'm like,
yeah,
that slide sounds more enjoyable. And actually, that is the slide that I was describing a minute ago of what my life has been like in the
yeah,
past. And I'm still doing that to this day with this thing that
yeah.
I'm experiencing now. So that
But
is my journey.
it's so often, at least for me, my initial sort of ego-based, you know, my own will-based thinking is like this has to happen fast and easy. Like it has to be the speed slide, Like
Yeah.
I don't want to go.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
I just want to have it.
yeah.
And yeah, it's like sometimes just trusting that, like, yeah, the twisty turny one's more fun.
Right.
It takes longer, it's not as quick, but it's more fun.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
great.
So cool. All right. Well, great discussion. Thank you all for listening and watching here today. We hope you got something out of it that you can use in your life. Remember, we're posting a brand new episode for you every single Monday morning. So if you subscribe to us and click the alerts there so you get them, you'll get one every Monday. We truly appreciate you doing whatever your platform allows you to do to support the podcast, liking us, following us. You can leave us a comment. You can write us a review. And also, if you're on the YouTube version, all of our social media links and also our email address are down in the description on YouTube down below. I want to give a shout out to your friend,
Sarah.
Sarah,
Woo-hoo! Thank
who
you.
left us a great comment.
Yeah,
I also wanted to give a great shout out to my sister again, Kelly, who listened to last week's
Oh,
episode and
yeah.
sent us a very nice message about how
Yeah. Thank you,
she got along.
Kelly.
Yeah.
Always love hearing,
So,
getting your feedback, and
thanks to all of you who listen and watch every week. We're super grateful to you.
thank you.
We wish you a very happy, abundant, and prosperous week, and we look forward to you joining us again on the next episode of Co-Creation Station. Bye, everybody.
Bye.